Wow.
Preferred pronoun.
We're just hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah. What's up, my b-boy?
What'd you call him?
He's a b-boy.
I'm a b-boy. Yeah, I'm
B-boy.
in. Dude, I'll tell you about it on the show. I'm in tracksuits. I'm not gonna lie about it. Man, I'm glad Thomas
Reached that stage of life.
I have, bro, and I'll tell you about it on the
Okay.
show.
You've been at that stage for years.
I'm glad Thomas said something about the chat not working. So if there's anybody listening now, what is Taren saying? But I won't be there. Okay, yeah, cool. Wait, I got it. Whatever.
Chloroform's kicking in. She'll be down in a second.
Oh, there's a cat. Hi, cat.
Hi, truffers. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully people are gonna start joining in here in a second, and we're just, chilling. That's what we do. Maybe waiting for Taren, maybe not.
Oh.
All right.
Can you do this? Can you make it up?
Can people join in the chat? There's 4 people watching. I'm assuming it's not all 3 of us and then someone else. So
I'm not even on it, so I think somebody
Okay.
else is.
So two.
I don't know. Okay, there we go. Brian, you're in the chat, baby.
Oh, Fatty got up on the chair.
Fatty got up on the chair, dude. I love that cat, but I hate that cat.
She a big girl.
She's thick,
She
dude.
thick.
She thick.
Damn, she thick. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let me get my notes together. And we'll start the show. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
That's good.
Yeah. And a lot of dumb stuff to talk about.
So it's our normal show.
Yeah. Well, don't forget we have Secret Show,
Oh dear.
and Terren's making a Tom and Jerry.
What's that?
I don't know. It has batter. It's a thing. I don't know. It looks,
Batter?
yeah, it looks terrible, but don't
Like
tell her I said that.
Cake batter in it?
Well, you know how
I know there's egg in it.
not a hot toddy, but what's the other one that I made, the hot buttered rum? That's
Yeah.
a batter.
Okay.
So it's like thick,
Oh, okay.
coagulated sugar and stuff, and you take some and add it in hot water.
Okay.
I guess it's like that. I don't know. You can't. Look, I'm wearing my tracksuit, but you cannot come over here. You can lay down here. Oh,
You're clearly her favorite because I was trying to get her to come cuddle with me and she wasn't having it.
dude, this cat and I have been through some emotions. It's cool. We're good. All right. I got this up and running. I got my soundboard up and running. I think that's good. I really wish Jeremy was joining us, but that's not gonna happen. I don't know why.
Where he at?
I don't know, man. Scandinavia.
Is he really?
I have no idea.
He was at Disneyland not that long ago.
It's Disney World. not
That's
that
what
long
that's
ago,
what I
yeah.
mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, they're very similar.
It's the same
so.
place.
Trumpy, lay there. Okay. Well, Terrence should come in any second, so let's just start the show, huh?
All right. Whatever.
All right, here we go. Mute you. Mute you. That was perfect timing. All right, here we go.
Whatever.
All right, here we go. Mute you. Mute you. That was perfect timing.
It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Welcome, everybody. Ears Up Podcast. I'm excited to be here. My cat is showing Beverly her good side.
Cat booty.
Yeah, right up in the
All up
grill,
in my
dude.
face.
Yeah, well, that's what happens here on Ears Up Podcast.
I need to adjust my volume and she's sitting on the volume.
Which one is it?
I think
This
number
one?
2.
This one?
No. Just stop. It's fine.
Well, you'll
whatever.
figure it out.
Well, now that the music's not playing, it's fine.
Music is playing.
Not as loud.
Maybe the headphones aren't the problem.
Yeah, right?
Probably.
Maybe it's what's between the headphones.
There's nothing between them.
There.
Anyway, we have a good show for you guys today. The history of Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island.
I'm actually really excited about this one.
I am as well. Terrence's like, I don't really think there's going to be a lot. I'm like, yes, there's going to be a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. And don't you have something going on today, Terrence, too, or not?
I'm doing the history. No, I'm doing what we call She Gone.
She gone.
She Gone. So something that used to be in the Disneyland resort area that is no longer there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know-
segment She Gone.
She Gone.
You know what we should do is get that that clip of the Hall & Oates song. She's gone nowhere.
Oh, that's what they say?
Yeah.
She's gone. She gone.
She gone. She
Oh,
gone.
speaking of that,
They don't say
we ta-
she gone. They
Oh,
actually,
she,
yeah.
She gone. On the way here, we talked about this a little bit on the way here. The famous Toto song, the one that everyone knows.
Yes.
So we get to the crescendo of the song. They're in the chorus. We're ready to go. I'm waiting for my homegirl Bev to be belting it out with me, and for some reason, something in my head says, "Pull back a little bit, Terrence. Just pull back and listen. Just pull back and listen."
Okay.
And I realize that she is singing, "I Guess It Rains Down in Africa."
I mean, I guess it does rain.
I guess it-
I'm not
yeah.
wrong. I'm not wrong.
Well, you're not wrong that you guess it rains.
You're wrong about the lyrics.
You're wrong, but
I mean,
yes.
probably.
In that context, you were incorrect.
Yes.
That reminds me of Taren's famous, to me, gaffe or misinformation that she's been delivering for years on the Huey Lewis and the News banger, I Want a New Drug. I think we've talked about it on the show. I can't remember, but she
Okay.
always thought it was, I want a new truck.
Yeah. I don't know that song.
I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick. Do. One that won't make me ba-ba-ba-ba and a do-ba-do-ba-do thick.
I probably heard that song. I didn't think
I want a new drug.
I don't think they said drug or
Yeah.
truck, but I certainly didn't think they said drug.
Well, it's literally the song title, so there's that.
Yeah.
Well,
But also, how much sense does I want a new truck, one that won't make me sick? How much sense does that make?
motion sickness.
Oh.
It makes total sense.
I forget that you know what, you're like Professor Finkelstein and the unnamed creation at the end of Night Before Christmas with you and Taren.
Yeah.
Now we'll have conversations worth having. And you put a brain in Taren's head.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Half a brain. Yeah, I can. You know what? When we do our live show next year, I don't know if we're gonna have it.
We are.
should do a condensed version of Nightmare Before Christmas with us acting the parts, and that'll be
I like it.
that'll be it. I like it too. Well, I apologize to anybody trying to tune in live.
Chat's working fine.
Chat's
Everything's
working fine right now,
It's
but
fine.
so YouTube changed their policies, or it's the feds made the YouTube, whatever. But as a content creator, we have to determine if our channel is for kids or not. And what I did is I selected, of course, it's for kids. The point of the whole show, the whole thing here is that you can listen with your family, and we're not going to say S words or T words or whatever.
Most
whatever
of us
T word.
won't.
Most of us. Well, no, that's what the secret show's for. We get it all out. And so I didn't know. So I'm like, well, of course it's for kids. Why wouldn't it be for kids? But apparently, what I didn't. Was she farting?
Farted.
Yeah, cat
That's
fart.
gross.
The older she's
That's
getting.
hot.
Yeah, dude, she bangs him out.
Oh, damn. I mean, dang.
Yeah. Well, and also.
Going back to what I just said.
Yeah. What the good thing about the cat is that she just it's like she doesn't let you know that she did it.
No, she fweeped that out real fast.
Yeah, but fweeped.
It's a little fart sound. Fweep.
Taren. Yeah, you know what I love about doing the
We're
show?
2 for 2 now, man.
I didn't know that we were live.
Yeah. So now, yeah, and actually this is perfect timing because I'm talking about how we're gonna give Taren a second here. She just got scratched by the cat.
She just got clawed, not
Yeah.
scratched. That was rough,
Like
dude.
ripped my pants. Like
Ripped your pants? Welcome, Taren. Here, let me move all this. Anyways, so make a short story long and really boring and no one cares anymore. But YouTube made me decide okay, it's for kids. But apparently what that does is if you have live events, there's no chat room. It disables the chat. And that's the whole
Stupid.
point of us
Yeah.
having a YouTube channel, so we can talk to you guys and you can talk to us. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's all working out. Thanks to big shouts to Thomas, dude,
Yeah.
putting in some work and telling your boy that that doesn't work, and we figured it out. So good job.
Real quick,
Yeah.
just quick shout out to Ryan, who is in the parks and also in the chat. So he's
Really?
the one from Colorado that wrote in. I forgot how many months ago it was, but he was asking about stuff to do. He, believe his fiance had been to Disney World a ton of times.
Yeah.
He's talking about,
Oh,
what do we
yeah.
do, beer and stuff like that. He's in the parks right now, but he's also decided to listen to Ears Up while he's in the parks.
Well, Ryan,
That's
Yeah,
great
you're the
time
man.
management.
good job. Sorry, Thomas, you've been dethroned as boss hog of the show today. It's Ryan now. Actually, you guys can share it.
I'm sorry. And also, just to throw this out
Yeah.
there, just because we were talking about misheard lyrics as well, this is actually the best one I've ever heard.
I just read it.
This is the best one I've ever heard. It's from our good friend Melissa, who's in the chat.
Yeah.
From the song "You Ought to Know" by by Alanis Morissette. She thought it said, "The cross-eyed bear that you gave to me."
Like-
A cross-eyed bear.
Cross-eyed bear.
Cross-eyed bear that you gave to me.
What's the lyric?
Cross-eye bear.
The cross-eyed bear that you gave to me.
Oh.
Not the cross-eyed bear.
Oh,
It's a pretty good one, though. It's a pretty good one.
that is pretty good. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Now that Terrence here, we can get things going. We have the history of Tom Sawyer's Island or something. I don't know what it is. But before we get to the show, you can find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Any feedback on the show goes to Taren at earsup-podcast.com. Show suggestions goes to Terrence at earsup-podcast.com. You can say hi to Bev, and anything else comes to me, Jason, earsup-podcast.com. What's everybody whispering about? What are you guys whispering about?
Don't
What are you guys
worry
whispering
it.
about?
Don't worry
About
about
you.
It's distracting.
It's
and I
about
can
you.
hear it.
It's about you.
Okay, well, good. There you go. I like
There's a
that.
Taylor Swift song, and she says, I got a long list of ex-lovers, and I always thought she said, got a lovely Starbucks order. Or something
you
like
didn't.
that. Yes, I did. It sounds like she says Starbucks.
They've done a study on it. It sounds like she
lovely
says, "I got a
Starbucks
long
order."
list Starbucks lovers" or something like that. Yeah.
All right, we're
we
Patreon
weren't
people
gonna talk
listening
about
live. We're gonna figure it out on the page on the secret show. We're gonna play because I can't play here. We'll get dinged.
Yeah.
Taryn, do we have feedback?
We have one. Yes, one small one.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I love it.
This is from Brent. He says, "Hey guys." No. He says that's not what he said at all.
He doesn't say "Hey guys" at all.
He says, "Hey, have you guys ever done a show on beer at Disneyland? We're going in September. Brew strong."
Yeah, so he's a brewing network guy. We have not, sort of, kind of. We have. We used to have Mouse Brew
Yeah,
on a lot.
yeah.
Now we don't really have anybody. We do have Eric from Concy Ears.
Yeah.
And he does a blog, a drinks blog, but we don't do
Yeah.
a proper show because it sort of changes all the time.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing to talk about, like, because we thought about it. Terrence and I talked about it for a
Yeah.
long time, and it's like, well, what do we say? You can get beer here and here and here, but you already know that, and you just look at the app. So I always found that I didn't have anything interesting to say about it. So we haven't done a proper show yet.
I
But
think we-
there's a blog.
Yeah.
Go to earsup-podcast.com, and then on the blog, it drinks, and Eric does a really good job talking about all the lovely drinks you can buy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have suggestions of places that are better to go than others, but you're right. I mean,
Spill 'em, let's go. Let's talk about it.
I think that my favorite place in the entire parks, all the parks, to get beer is at the Sonoma Terrace.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Favorite place to go.
See, but here's
It's
the
the
thing.
best selection, too.
Last
Best
time,
selection, yeah.
time we went, there was a line stretching from the counter to the benches.
Yeah, that's
which, if you've ever been there,
bad.
that's
That's
a good
insane.
30 feet or something like that. I don't know.
So the only other time I've actually seen a long line there was when we were there for our 100th. It was, I believe it was all of us and Jeremy, and we went there for a beer. And the problem is in that area, since it's,
It was also the
yeah.
food thing.
well, it was not only the food thing, but they had the AP thing. They had the
Yes.
AP
Where you go
special.
to get your badge.
Exactly.
This line was longer than that, bro.
Really?
It was a direct
Gross.
shot, and it was like we were walking by. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Wow.
I'm not gonna wait in line for 5 minutes to pay $11.
Yeah.
For a beer.
No, I completely agree.
I'm sorry,
with
I'm
you,
not
yeah.
gonna do it.
So, I agree with you. Still, best selection,
for
bottles
sure.
and draft there.
They have good wine, too.
They do have good wine. That's true. I guess Ballast Point is craft now ish.
Yeah,
Again?
I just
It
never
is.
really
It
liked.
got-
I
it
never
cost-
liked their
yeah.
beers, so I just
I don't like
really
their hop
care either
profile
way.
at all. I don't like the hop profile of,
Yeah.
of Ballast Point beers, but the actual building, like it looks rad.
Oh, it looks great.
It looks rad.
I'll just never go in there. You know what? You know what I realized, and Taren discovered this last time we went. You can mobile order from the Carl Strauss truck
Yes.
in Pacific Wharf. I did not know that.
I love that.
You can also mobile order whatever the Mexican beer they have at the Mexican restaurant there in Pacific Wharf. You can just order mobile order that.
Yeah.
Well,
I had
and
no
I
idea.
I would suggest even getting in line and mobile ordering.
Get double
And
dipping.
because sometimes the line's going to move faster than the
Yeah.
app, and sometimes the app's going to move faster than the line. So then
Yeah.
There you
you're
go.
covered.
Taren's like the person who has the Lyft app and the Uber app up at the same time.
Which one
yeah.
can we
Oh
hear
my
first?
gosh, yeah. You have to do that. Sometimes one is surging.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely right. So anyway, I hope we helped you. Actually, someone, I forget, actually it was the guy who Jeremy and I met at, he's local to us when Jeremy was here. He wanted to know, he's apparently now has celiac disease. He was just diagnosed. So he wants to know if there's gluten-free beers at the park. And I don't think that there are, but then again, I don't look for those, so I don't pay attention, so I have no idea. So if anybody out there in chat land, maybe Ryan, if you want to go poke around for a second, do me a favor. Take 20 minutes to do the circle tour and look for gluten-free beers, dude. If not, you're not a real fan. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think there are, but I feel like if there were, it would be. If there was ever a place that was going to have a gluten-free beer available, it should be Disneyland.
Because it's L.A. That was
Well,
my
exactly.
thought. That was my thought. This is L.A. I'm surprised they don't have kombucha on tap.
Yet.
Right.
Nah, son. No.
No. Literally, no. If you want to support the show,
support
Etsy.com/coveear, Etsy.com/shop/coveears. And what I did the other day is I pulled off everything off the store, all the shirts, everything off the store, and I put only a couple of back. So we have a couple of back. I put the couple of back.
It's the tracksuit.
We have the Churro Castle. I haven't gotten there yet. We have the Churro Castle
greasy.
sweatshirt. We have the Christmas show shirt, which is
Nice.
on sale now.
Okay.
I mean, I lowered the price. It's not really on sale, but it sort of is. But I don't know how to do that, so I just lowered the price on everything.
Okay.
The shirt that Taren designed, which is it says "I'm here to change the world," and it has a little the 3D glasses that you got at EO, which is kind of cool. And then the Pirates and Mansion skateboard T-shirt, the Skater Die themed T-shirts.
Nice.
That's it. Everything else is in the vault, and we will unlock it eventually. So pay attention. If you want something, pick it up because you never know when it's going to go back in. Beverly, go ahead.
So the shirt that you have on,
Oh yes, this is it. Pirates and Mansion.
so that's a skater thing?
Skate or die.
Yeah, Skater Die was like an old 80s skater thing, and
I
so
literally
I got
think
the
that we
font.
talked about this last time.
We did.
Because
We
I
talked on
think
the last
you
show.
asked the question last time.
Probably, because I feel like the font is like Star Wars font. Like, that's what I see.
Yeah,
the A, I
okay,
could see
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Shut up.
Anyway, so that's the shirt. Since Taren mentioned it, I'm a tracksuit guy now, I think.
Bro.
I think I'm a tracksuit guy.
Broski.
What do you think? I mean, look,
Broski.
honestly, like, tracksuit.
Oh, dear.
So number one, you need to get some
Right?
shell toes to rock with that, with the fat laces.
Yeah,
and then you're
but
good.
I don't want to do that necessarily, but I'm like, so we went to the outlet malls. We messed up the outlet malls the other day, dude. We went
It
and
was
we're just like,
amazing.
hey, let's go here, let's go here, let's go to the van store, let's go to the Coach store.
It was my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did some damage,
Yeah.
bro, and it was pretty fun actually. I've never done that. Just whatever, who cares? We're already in debt from Christmas.
That's kind of how it felt. It was
What's
like
another
Whatever.
$100,000? So we bought
At
4
the
cars.
outlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I've always wanted to kind of do a tracksuit thing, and so we went to the Adidas store, and I put it on. I was like, oh my God, I look like I'm 55.
You need a thick gold chain.
Tell me
The
about it.
donkey rope, bro.
But what-
LL Cool J. There you go,
But
bro.
what I like about what I like about these is that it has like the elastic at
Tapered.
the bottom, so it's
Yeah.
tapered,
Yeah.
and the style for that is just a little shorter than you would normally wear.
Yeah.
So you can still rock cool socks.
Yeah.
So then I'm not so much of a dad. I'm just a cool dude.
At what point are you going to transition from
Okay.
this to just gray sweatpants?
Well, I
No,
have
he
those.
had those already.
Yeah, but this I can go out in. So the other day I took Alice to visit Taren at work. Guess what I wore to Taren's employment.
I'm sure that
Tracksuit.
outfit.
Tracksuit. Yeah.
I was pretty surprised, to be honest with you. I was like, we're going for
It's
it.
a real thing.
This is like the
He did it.
evolution. This is the evolutionary chart, but backwards. And so you go from the tracksuit, and then you go to the sweats, and then eventually he'll just have the slightly open robe, and that's it.
Kimono.
Full kimono.
Full kimono.
I will not
and then
acknowledge
you're
you.
Big Lebowski.
I don't know, brother. Anyway, I'm a tracksuit guy. I think I'm gonna swoop a couple of tracksuits and just see how it goes, man. See how it goes. Why not? What are you gonna do, right?
Dripping too hard.
What
bro.
are you gonna do?
Dripping too
Oh,
hard.
Did you see my? Whatever. Drip too hard? Yes or no? You can also support Jason's tracksuit addiction by going to patreon.com/earsup. Please do that. Sign up to be a Patreon level as little as $2 a month if you want to. I would recommend the $5 at least or more, but you still get a lot of cool stuff with the $2. Number one, you get to support the show, and that's more important. And number two, every once in a while we do release stuff that is for every Patreon level. So we do have, levels. So at $5 or more, you get the secret show. At $12 or more, you get a photo or whatever it is. I don't even remember anymore. So one thing we do for every level of Patreon is something called Things That Taren Googled. Things Taren Googled.
That's awesome.
Episode 3 just released today.
It dropped
Oh,
today.
yeah, I kind of want to be on the mailing. I'm not a Patreon supporter, but I kind of want
I'll
to be
get
on
you
that.
the. I should just remind me every time
Okay.
that you hear about it. We talk about it. I'll email you the
'Cause I
link.
liked the first one so much, and I just want to, honestly, I just want to see the comparisons and what Taren Googles versus what I Google, because I feel like there's going to be some overlap.
I feel that way too, to be honest with you. So here's a little. Let's see, I got to go here. Hold on a second. Let me open this thing. Let me open this deal. Taren played a little. She made me a little. An intro or whatever?
A preview.
A snippet.
Preview. There we go.
It's just a preview of this month's.
I got to download it. Jeez, I had no idea. I apologize, everybody. Well, while that downloads, I did notice
Happy
something.
New Year, everybody. Man.
No, that's the actual one.
That's true.
Because there is a thing I want to call you out on for in the actual one. So
no.
here we go. Here's the preview. Here we go.
Well, I don't want to live my life based on an old wives' tale, so I better Google this and find out. I'm not saying I could do 5 shots of tequila, but I feel like I could do 5 shots of wine really fast.
Oh, yeah, same.
Jason got a VR for Christmas because I'm the best wife ever.
Debatable.
And it's like, are you recording me right now? Did you just take my picture? Are you going to use this against me at some point?
She's talking about herself
I
doing
had
the
to
show.
Google how tofu was made, and finally, I started getting somewhere. I hope you learned a little something tonight. I certainly learned a lot.
There you go. So if any of that excites you at all, get yourself checked out because
Probably.
no, it was you did a good episode. I make a little guest appearance in there, but
It's true.
here's what I want to call you out for,
Okay.
Taren. Here
Yes,
we go. Let's
yes,
just go.
sir.
Let's go right here.
Always. Constantly filling the dishwasher. Our old house didn't even have a dishwasher, so I'm thankful that we have one now, but man, there's a lot of dishes. The other day, I put one of our nonstick pans in the dishwasher, and Jason's like, you can't put nonstick stuff in the dishwasher. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I didn't forget. I knew. I was just being lazy.
I knew this was going to come up. I
Now-
didn't think it was going to come up on air.
Do you
but
know how much flack, static, feedback, resistance that I get every time I tell Taren something that she's doing incorrectly? A lot. And it turns out she knows about it. She just does it anyway.
She's normal. That's
Okay.
what we all do, bro.
Okay, can I say
I'm
something?
I've never been lazy my entire life.
So for Christmas, I actually asked for some new pans because ours
Yeah.
were like 11 years old and they were pretty terrible.
Because you're putting them in the dishwasher, probably.
Yeah.
No, because for the last 9 years, we didn't have a dishwasher.
Yeah, well.
That being said, the new pans, I went home and I was like, oh, and we're not allowed to put these in the dishwasher. JP told me, or Jason told me, sorry for getting my names mixed up here.
That's right. I'm like Ziggy Stardust and David Bowie.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
I know exactly.
And
And
be
he's
separate.
like,
Garth Brooks.
what are
and
you
Chris
talking about? I just read the instructions and it says dishwasher safe on it.
Nope.
so
It's-
I
it-
talk about that.
Well,
No.
if it's non-stick, they don't go in the dishwasher.
It says dishwasher safe, but the high heat actually does mess them up. You're supposed to wash them
They
by hand.
go on the stove. move.
You're also, this is also in there. We're just
They
ruining
go
the
on
whole episode.
fire. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to put them over medium heat.
Boom.
Non-stick apparently can only be medium or low heat.
Yep.
Medium, and I cook everything at
be
medium
high
high.
heat.
It can't be high.
It can't be high.
It can't be
I
high.
cook
heat.
everything at high heat because I'm
Really?
hungry.
Because I'm
Basically, yeah.
Cook the outside of it.
Yeah.
The inside's raw.
No,
but it's all
everybody's
good.
doing everything wrong with
Yes.
their, and that's why you have to buy them every like 6 months.
Well, thank goodness for.
I waited 10 years, so ours were
Thanks
extra
goodness for your
cancery.
Google show, because I'd be doing everything wrong if it wasn't for you.
Google show.
No, that sounded
Taren and her Google show.
That sounded sarcastic, but I actually meant it.
You know what, Terrence? You and I should start one. It's called Stuff That Terrence and Jason Binged.
Copyright
Everyone will be
issues.
like,
And then
That's
we'll
just-
What's
and
Bing?
it's just gonna be exactly what Taren did,
but we did it on Bing.
but we did it better.
But with stupider results.
Yeah, like this is why Taren just mansplaining. It'll be great.
Wow.
We can do it with Siri and have it read it back to us. Even better.
Just can you
Save
imagine
some
the whole
time.
show is us going like this?
Oh my god.
You cannot
Dumb.
use a nonstick pan on high heat.
Well, sorry we ruined your episode.
That's
If,
fine.
if you do any kind of internet shopping, you can use our Amazon link on our archive page. So here's a couple updates here on what's going on here in Earzup Studios before we get to the show. The Supreme Resort, the new episode is out. It is called The People versus Star Tours. It's a little different than the standard, the way they do with the kind of like arguing, whatever, because Star Tours on both coasts is the same. It's the same ride, so you can't say one's fundamentally better than the other. But they argue if it even has a place in Tomorrowland, and I think they do a really good job about it.
I 100% endorse this episode. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And at
I wouldn't go that far.
No, it was. And at one point, I actually texted Jimmy because I was so upset at what they were saying on that show.
There you go.
And so if you have that response, you're gonna like this kind of a show.
Also, they have a Facebook group, so go join that. The Supreme Resort. People are talking about it, and people are upset at the last episode, the Haunted Mansion one.
Yeah.
People on there, they had feelings.
Yeah.
And
You know
they
what I like
expressed them
about it?
very, very deeply on Facebook.
I like that they are getting all of the feelings now, and we don't get them.
I know.
Now we look like angels.
Exactly. I don't know what's wrong with those guys over there at the Supreme Resort.
Yeah.
Get their act together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not our show. I don't care. I would never say the salacious things that they said over on Supreme Resort. I would never do anything like that. But I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so check them out. Our new streaming player is up. A lot of people have been hitting our streaming player. So that means that I have to now do more work, and I'll take all those shows down that are up and reload them with new shows. Because we can only fit a gig of shows, and that's 25 or 30 shows or whatever. So I'll refresh those here, whenever I get a chance to. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to the How to Listen drop down from our menu on our homepage, and at the bottom of How to Listen, there's a link for the stream there for sure. I already did the Etsy store, I did all that kind of stuff. I do want to talk real quick about Concierge. You go to concierge.com if you need help planning your vacation to the parks, if you've never been to a certain park, if you've never done Run Disney or done a Disney cruise and you want to, contact Concierge. Go to concierge.com. If you're just buying tickets, buy them through concierge.com. It helps them out, which helps us out, which helps you out. And you have somebody in your back pocket that will help you in case you need it at any point in any time. If you're in if you're in Disneyland and you want to make a reservation at Carthay and you're way over there and you don't want to go call on the phone or whatever, contact the folks at Concierge, give them a time and a window, and they will help you as best as they can. That is what you pay nothing for.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I know,
it's
it's
like
insane.
it's like stupid not to do it.
It's free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
check them out. They're our official travel partner. They're good people. We like them over there a lot. And actually, Eric, who works at Concierge, who does our drinks blog, we're trying to get him as a judge on the Supreme Resort. And
That'd
I think
be
that
fun.
would be very, very
Good.
good.
It'd be very good.
I'm excited about that. So
Cool.
check them out, concierge.com. All right, Taren,
Yeah.
are you ready for this?
I am.
All right, the history of whatever you're talking about.
It's the history of Pirate's Lair. Actually, no. It's the history of Tom Sawyer's Island.
That's what I thought.
That is now called the
Pirate's
history
Lair.
of Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Got it.
That's a mouthful.
That's why. Yeah, it's the history of Tom Sawyer's Island.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Even though it's been well over 50 years since Walt Disney stepped foot in Disneyland, his mark is still left in many places around the park. There is, however, only one attraction in Disneyland that Walt Disney designed completely on his own, and that's Tom Sawyer's Island.
Wait, he designed that whole thing by himself?
He did.
Wow. I never knew. That's incredible. I never knew that.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
For about 6 years, Walt Disney's family lived in Marceline, Missouri. Walt was only 4 years old when they moved there, but these formative years really stuck with him. Case in point, Main Street, USA, the very first impression you get of Disneyland, was inspired by the town of Marceline and what Walt remembered of living there around the turn of the century. Walt was at an age while living in Marceline where his imagination really started to take hold. Adventure, cowboys, Indians, pirates, these are what Walt was most interested in. Walt began to love Mark Twain, and more specifically the adventures of Tom Sawyer, as it seemed to encompass all of these. It should come as no surprise, then, that Walt wanted some aspect of Tom Sawyer in his park. Let's back up, though. In all of the renditions of Disneyland, even dating back to the earliest concepts, when it was planned for Burbank, there was always a river with an island in the middle. Walt, however, hadn't settled on what the island attraction was going to be. He kind of toyed with a few ideas, maybe a Mickey Mouse Island that could act as a home base for the Mickey Mouse Club.
A Mickey Mouse Island.
That's weird, yeah.
Welcome to my island, kids.
Sounds terrifying.
I know.
Why is Michael Jackson in Disneyland? What are you talking about?
If you want to leave,
My bad. Sorry.
if you want to leave, you gotta wait for the boat, huh?
Yeah. He also thought about possibly a storybook land type island with small miniatures of American monuments like Independence Hall or Mount Vernon, things like that. Which that would be interesting. I like the idea. A little boring, maybe.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's 1955.
I know, exactly.
What did they have going on in 1955?
Not much.
You know what I mean?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes, scotch,
Yeah.
and Tom and Jerry.
Basically, yeah.
Polio.
Terrence,
Polio.
you need to stop it. You're on timeout.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Taren.
What he really wanted for this island, however, was that it would allow for spontaneous play and self-guided exploration. He wanted a playground. So as the concept steered towards this adventurous spirit, Walt turned to none other than Mark Twain's Adventures of Tom Sawyer for inspiration. He decided that while the design would be somewhat passive in comparison to some of the other attractions at the park, it would highlight the joy... Are you guys okay?
We're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. He decided that
We're just laughing.
Okay.
Yeah.
He decided that while the design would be somewhat passive in comparison to the other attractions at the park, it would highlight the joy of imagination and allow children to truly play at Disneyland.
Okay. Which I do appreciate because he's building all these attractions and things like the bathroom of tomorrow or whatever. Kids don't care about that stuff.
No, that's for the adults, for
You need
sure.
a place to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
Get dirty, run around.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Spontaneously play. It's fine, yeah.
Okay. Walt initially
No, go ahead, please.
Walt initially asked Mark Davis to draw out the design of the island. It didn't look right to Walt. And Davis remembered Walt snapping, "Give me that thing."
Can you just hear Walt saying, "That doesn't look right"?
No, he said, "Give me that
No,
thing."
no, I know,
Oh.
but like going, I don't know, it doesn't look right.
Yes, I can.
It's like
He's a grumpy old guy.
totally believable.
But,
Yeah.
but Walt also was the person who said it's much easier to choose from more than one option. So that's why they always brought 3 to 4 different things for him. So I could see him being like, that sucks. Let me do it.
Well, so he snapped, "Give me that thing," and then he left for home. Walt apparently stayed up most of the night designing the island himself, adding elements of, quote-unquote, all things he wanted to do as a kid. He then brought the design back to Davis, exclaiming, "Ha! Now that's the way it should be."
Weird. So Walt had an idea in his mind, didn't really express that idea fully, and then had to do it himself.
Or maybe couldn't articulate it properly, gave it to somebody else, let them do like the fundamentals, and then he was like, "Okay, now let me get in there and fix that."
Which honestly, that would be me as
Like,
like
I
a
just-
boss. Like
yeah,
a, like a,
that's-
like a,
Honestly,
yeah.
he was doing his best.
yeah, for sure.
He delegated.
Well, Whoa. Well, Walt received.
I like how Taren freaks herself out.
She just said like 4 words in one word form.
Whoa.
It's true.
All right, Regan.
Okay. Well, Walt received. That's a terrible. You can't say Walt.
Wow.
It
doesn't work.
Is it too awkward to remind everybody that you are an English major?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right, I just did.
I'm not a speech therapist. There's a difference.
Oh.
Dang.
It's written correctly. You just can't say it out loud very well.
Go ahead, please, Taren.
While Walt received landscaping help from Bill Evans, final renderings of the planned buildings, the treehouse, the old mill, and Fort Wilderness from Sam McKim, and map art design from Vic Green, Claude Coates, and Herb Ryman, the actual design of the island and the elements included were all 100% Walt Disney.
Nice.
And the Imagineers that helped create the island did so using Walt's original concept design. So even though this island was a conceptual anchor to Disneyland, on opening day in 1955, the island still only consisted of a mound of dirt. It wasn't until a year later, on June 16th, 1956, that the completed island opened to parkgoers. So Tom Sawyer's Island is only accessible by raft, an homage to Huckleberry Finn's famous raft, and once you're on the island, you're able to explore freely through trails, bridges, and passageways. And while there isn't an actual story there, like in many other attractions, the elements of a story are present, and the intention is that your imagination fills the gaps. Mm-hmm. When the island first opened in 1956, kids could climb up Tom and Huck's treehouse or visit the big draw to the island, Fort Wilderness, which was a large activity area with things to explore like the canteen and trading post, the rifle roost, which held guns, regimental headquarters. This was an important space in Fort Wilderness. This was the headquarters cabin, home to Major General Andrew Jackson. So guests could find General Jackson at his desk, always busy with a pile of papers and messages from fort commanders. And then there was also a secret escape tunnel. And so when your time at the fort was done, you could leave in style. So what's interesting about this is it wasn't that exciting. Like if you've ever been to like Jamestown or like an old mining town or something like that, it's kind of like that where they have these things set up and you kind of peer in the windows and you just see what's going on, and it's not great, but it's something
diorama.
to do. Yeah, exactly. So also available as an activity on the island on its opening day was fishing for live fish off of the pier.
That's right.
What?
Yeah.
So you basically rented a fishing pole and you were able to fish for real catfish off a small pier. The entire river was not filled with catfish. They actually had a net underneath, so they kind of just filled the net.
Dang. Okay.
No, but get this. So these fish were not catch and release.
Yeah, so what on earth?
Guests who caught fish, they kept their fish.
Bro.
So
Bro.
This activity only lasted for 2 months because
Go figure.
While Disneyland offered Touché. While Disneyland offered to hold the fish in refrigeration for the guests until they were done for the day, many guests did not take this offer, and they ended up in lockers and bags and stunk up the place.
That's disgusting.
That's amazing.
I mean, just logistically, you would think in a place that is running like Disneyland is running, that somebody would have said, "Hey, we're gonna refrigerate fish for people,"
or
Nah,
we're gonna offer these people the ability to fish.
Yeah.
But what are they gonna do with them?
What they should have done is had a little cleaning station on the other side of the island where you can take your fish and they'll clean it and just barbecue it for you real fast and you eat
That'd
it.
be dope.
Yeah, right?
That'd be dope.
But I find it so weird that they kept the fish.
Do you know?
Agreed.
And I've read some of this and I didn't know any of this. Maybe you found out. But was there a time limit? So could you just, or was it a catch limit?
I don't believe so. It was a
So
pretty
you could
small
you
area.
could just catch 10 fish.
I believe so.
Have them
That
tied to a pole walking
yeah,
down.
then that
doesn't make any
that
sense.
pays for your trip.
That's an expensive fishing license.
Huh? You
What?
don't-
Right? Like you're paying to go to Disneyland to fish all day.
Oh, okay. That makes
Well, not
sense.
all day, but
Yeah.
if they're in a
Thank you.
net, they're going to bite eventually. You probably take an hour,
Well,
catch
I guess
5
that's true.
fish.
Yeah.
There you go. You have food for 5 days, and you.
It was a pretty small area. Like I
Yeah.
can't imagine it took very long. That's crazy.
ridiculous.
It should have been.
That's a
catch and release.
horrible idea.
It's really bad.
It's a terrible idea. So aside from stinking up the place, the island had a certain quality to it that brought out a mischievous side to guests, which had unintended results in a couple of cases. So in June 1973, an 18-year-old Bogdan Delaro and his brother managed to stay on the island past dusk when the island closed by climbing a fence and hiding. When they decided to leave the island a few hours later, they didn't want to get in trouble, so instead of signaling to a cast member, they decided to swim across. The problem,
That makes sense.
yes, the problem is that the younger brother, who was 10 years old, did not know how to swim.
This is brilliant idea so far. Keep going.
So
The
far, it's
problem
going
was
really
they
well.
didn't know how to do it.
right. Right.
They did not think it through. So Delaro carried him on his back and swam across the river. Unfortunately,
Which is very Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer, by the
It
way.
is.
Honestly.
however, about halfway across, he sank and drowned. The younger brother dog paddled until cast members rescued him.
So he could have
Thank
swam.
you. My point exactly.
He killed his older brother.
It's like the door thing in Titanic. There was room on that door.
No. There was room, but it started to sink when Jack tried to climb up there. He couldn't have been on the door.
Whatever, Jeremy.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
but the
That's
worst,
worse than Boomer.
I think the worst part about this is that they didn't find the body of Delaro
no.
until the next morning.
Ugh.
Like, how did it take that
Did he
long?
not? Did
There's
the
probably-
It's
kid
dark.
Not,
Yeah, pumps moving the water. You don't know
yeah.
how long.
It's
it
like
took,
the
yeah.
Augustus Gloop thing. He's been
Yeah.
dragged down the river.
That sucks.
Yeah, I know,
dude.
and that's
Whoa.
not it. So then,
Imagine being that little brother. Like, honestly, that's
Yeah.
that's terrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
it's really sad. Then, on June 4th, 1983, another 18-year-old drowned in the river while trying to float across in a rubber emergency float that he found on the island.
What? I mean,
wait.
okay.
So he and a friend drunkenly stole the boat from a restricted area during a grad night,
Yeah.
and the boat sank partway across the river.
What year was this again?
83.
83.
83. Okay.
The victim's mom sued both Disneyland for
Nope.
negligence and the travel agency that arranged the trip for not properly supervising the teenagers.
Potentially,
That's
but no.
potential. That's
That
possible.
one.
Both lawsuits were unsuccessful.
Right. That's like suing the city because the cops weren't there when you got robbed.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
police
It's not the cops'
everybody.
fault. Yeah, it's
Right.
not Disneyland's fault that your kid got. I mean, this sounds so awful, but
Your
it's not
kid got
Disneyland's
drunk?
fault. Your kid got drunk and then tried to float a broken floaty across the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. That's not funny, but
Right, it's not funny.
They were drunk at grad night, so you go, well, how do you sneak liquor in, especially on a grad night? I would imagine in the 80s, there's probably parents or chaperones, making sure that the kids don't sneak the stuff in. So we all have a mutual friend, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to tell the story because he's a big LA guy and he likes to brag. That he was going to go to grad night, and then the week before he went to Disneyland, brought his booze, took it to Tom Sawyer's Island, and buried it.
Oh, wow.
So then on
Whoa.
grad night, they just went to Tom Sawyer's Island and in very much Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer fashion, dug up the booze, the treasure,
Are
and
you
then drank.
kidding me?
That's
Yes.
insane.
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
You. Highly serious.
That's insane.
I
I mean,
know.
like full disclosure, I completely see this happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
That's what kids did back then, man. I don't know. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that
Yeah.
that they were even locals and planned this ahead of time. It sounds like it wasn't something that was needed to be made up.
That's incredible,
Right.
by the way. All right.
So unfortunately, I've lost a whole paragraph of my thing. I must have accidentally deleted it, but I think I remember the gist. Basically, there were no real updates to the island from 1956 until 1992, when they closed it down and refurbished it to include a stage for Phantasmic.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
so that's that. And what they did at that point was they took Fort Wilderness. They took. Well, I do get to it here. It's very. I don't know. I'm sorry. My notes got a little funky.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about
But
Doing great.
I'm just gonna go on.
Okay.
yeah.
it. Go off, Queen.
All right. So in the early 2000s, the age of the island began to show, especially for.
Rude, first of all.
I know.
Yeah.
Wasn't using those moisturizers. Especially for the most scenic part of it, Fort Wilderness. In the 90s, there were maintenance worker cuts throughout the park, and unfortunately, Fort Wilderness suffered because of it. Special effects were cut off, and since the fort was made with real logs, it made refurbishing it much more difficult, so they just didn't do it. Then, as if things weren't bad enough, in 2001, a 6-year-old girl got her finger stuck in one of the gun triggers at the rifle roost and ended up losing 3/4 of her finger.
Oh, bro.
This caused the island to shut down for an investigation. An interesting tidbit about this investigation is that it was actually only an internal investigation because Disney did not have to report this injury to OSHA. This is due to a loophole that only required them to report serious injuries that occurred on rides, and since this was considered a play area, Disney did not have to report it, and OSHA, even though they had heard about the incident from other sources, did not perform their own investigation. As you can guess, the dad of this girl was very upset by this and surprised and kind of felt like no one was doing their due diligence.
Right.
So, after this incident, the island reopened, but the rifle roost was no longer accessible to the public. After that, the fort basically shut down bit by bit. First, the escape tunnel was closed off, then the canteen shut down, and finally in 2003, the gates to the fort closed. The island underwent a major overhaul at this point to address many safety concerns, but the fort remained closed. A much smaller shell version of the fort still exists today, but it is merely a facade. You can't go in, you don't see anything. During this refurbishment, they also installed the Pirates Lair. Now, the justification for adding the Pirates Lair in on the island is that in Chapter 14 of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Tom Huck and Joe Harper go off to play pirates on a nearby island. That's
the
it.
end. Yeah.
The end.
For real?
Yeah.
That's it. So
I mean, I guess being across technically from Pirates of the Caribbean sort of
Caribbean.
lines it up.
yeah, and I believe, I didn't get clarification on this, but I believe that this opened when Pirates of the Caribbean had already opened, like the first one. So I think they didn't know if it was going to be successful or not, but they were kind of like, okay, pirates are cool.
You mean the movie?
Oh, the
I'm
movie.
sorry,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So so I think that they just started adding pirate stuff, and then they were like, "Oh no, it does make sense, you guys.
I
It
think
totally
you're-
makes sense."
No, I think you're totally
there's a
right.
chapter.
Yeah.
Because then in 2007, after the success of the movies, the island was, and 2007 is when I think the third one came out.
Okay.
The island was rethemed as Pirates Lair on Tom Sawyer Island, and then they added more pirate details, grottos, and even the not so buried treasure.
That's tacky.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually never went to Tom Sawyer's Island. I have only ever been to the Pirate Lair.
Yeah, probably same.
But man, that fake buried treasure looks so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and I mean, it's also fine. Like, it's fine because it's for children.
To get kids to just run on. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
and,
to take a picture.
and like our friend,
Yeah.
our friend Matt. We went there several years ago with his kids, and they were, I don't know, 8 or whatever. Loved taking pictures in front of that thing like they were goblins taking the gold. Like, so they actually, really enjoyed it, and that's really what it's for. I mean, Disneyland is for everybody, but that place is for
It's for kids.
12 and under. Or
It's for
whatever.
kids and for adults to sit on a bench and wait for their
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
basically.
Yeah.
And so really, aside from Phantasmic and then the Pirates Lair, there have been really not many changes to it, except when they made it a little bit smaller. They took a little bit of that off the north end of the island to make room for the train moving
Oh, yeah.
for Star Wars Land. And that's it. I think the big takeaway from this is that this is the only thing in the park that is Walt's.
Yeah. That's
That-
amazing to me.
That's
pretty
the
awesome.
reason to go there. I think. So
Well, not anymore. I mean,
no, it's still Walt's. I mean, they added stuff, but
The infrastructure is still the same.
the infrastructure is still the same, and they didn't overhaul it completely. It's they added to the Tom Sawyer aspect, but they didn't make it
They did a rebrand.
right. That's why it's Pirates Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island. It's still Tom Sawyer's Island, but it's
yeah.
they rebranded.
All right. I believe you.
I don't think you do.
I don't know, man. Whatever. But that was cool, Taren. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're
That
welcome.
was really interesting. Thank you.
No, I'll clap by myself. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, we're good.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not worried at all. Let's do some news, you guys. A little bit of news,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get out of here
I
because
have, have a segment.
Oh, you have a segment. That's right.
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. Do you want to do that first? It's
Yeah.
quick.
Let me get some water real fast.
Okay.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll have
Okay.
to edit this out.
I'm also gonna get water. Yeah.
Wow.
Bev, there's wine if you'd like wine.
I have to drive home. So.
No, you don't. I'll drive home.
Oh, hell yeah. We're editing this out.
Can I have a beer, though? Thank you.
It's all being edited out.
Oh, okay. Good.
So how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? I'm old. I'm 40.
We're both old, man.
No, you're not old yet.
Yeah,
still have a
I'm in
while.
my late 30s. I
You're
mean,
what,
you're
30?
40,
You're
but
35, right?
no.
6?
No.
7?
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought you were younger than that.
Nope.
I mean, not that that's
No,
old.
that's great.
Not what I'm saying.
But
that's
it
old.
is.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, 83.
Wow. I did not realize that. Oh, I didn't know we were that close in age.
By the way, when we had that argument about whether you or Jeremy was older, he's older. I mean, you're older by like 4 days or something.
No, you're well, he's
I was like really close.
he's the 30th, I think it is.
30.
30th, 31st?
Is there 31 in January?
There is.
I think it's the 30.
He'll be 40.
I forget. I texted him. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, he'll be 40 as well. That's
We should
crazy.
send him a present. I don't know. We shouldn't talk about it right now because he's probably listening.
Oh, man.
I mean, really, we should just send him a box of wine. That's
yeah.
all he really wants.
Send him the rest of that box of wine.
Oh my God,
That's
I
what you
should.
should do. Just duct tape it so it doesn't leak on the way out there.
You guys, if he comes into the chat, do not tell him this idea because I love it.
I think that's amazing.
You didn't get the box wine, right? You got like there was a bottle.
no.
Okay, good.
Because
Because I'm sending that back to Jeremy for his birthday.
So I saw this
I'm gonna
somebody
grab a beer.
on Facebook. So I should have got you some more.
No, I'm all
So
right.
somebody on Facebook, you know how you can like reshare things.
Yeah.
They shared something about like the wines that have like the highest level of, I don't remember if it was lead or mercury, but it was
geez.
bad. But it was an old article from like
It was
2015. Franzia was totally on the list, and
Oh,
I was like,
crap.
oh, snap! I hope they fix that.
I've been drinking some of that too.
It's amazing how long those cellophane bags of wine will last.
I know it's not even good, but
No,
sometimes I'm
but-
like,
But then there's, there are times you just don't want to open a whole bottle.
no, you exactly.
Because then you're like, oh, gosh, I have to drink like 3 glasses.
Yeah.
Or it really will go bad. Not like, I like to joke when we open like bottles of alcohol at home. I'm like, we got to drink that fast or it'll go bad.
Right.
Like vodka.
Definitely goes bad. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I haven't had that in a long time, and I was like, oh, that's not bad.
No,
It's actually better the second day, to be honest with you.
some wines are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Terrence is doing it. You're doing your segment.
She gone.
She
Yes.
gone.
She go.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find something real fast. Don't worry about it.
I know what you're looking for.
Colored my hair.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
It just has like it's like nice and like it has like little golden in it. It's really pretty.
Thank you. His sister.
You cut it too.
yeah. Oh, you went to
A little
Beth?
bit.
No, not
No.
trim, but
You went to Beth?
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
We're ready.
All right. All right, Terrence, we want to. Well, no. What? How did we end it with? You have a thing, so okay. All right, Terrence. Well, hey, I have a theme song for your cool segment.
Nice.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna play you in. Ready?
Okay.
She's gone. I'm in the light of the face. She's gone. Can't believe it. She's gone.
All right. there
So,
you go.
this is the second one that we've done. We actually need to, to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
So, I will plug a website. It's called yesterland.com.
it's called Target.com. Yeah.
And
Yesterland's great.
yes,
Yeah.
Wally does a great job over there, and it's neat because it shows you all the stuff that used to be there. And so I was perusing. I was making my way around that site a few months ago, and I was like, why don't we ever talk about the stuff that used to be that's no longer here? So she gone. So here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Disney owns everything. As ludicrous as that sounds, Disney seems to be gaining more and more ground within most major entertainment markets by swallowing up other companies that can no longer care to compete. One such company is ESPN. Now, ESPN was founded in 1979 in Bristol, Connecticut. Now, for those of you who don't know what ESPN is, it is a 24-hour per day sports giant that has channels and websites ranging from mainstream sports to the World Series of paper, rock, scissors.
Speaking of
That's ridiculous.
ESPN ate the Ocho.
Speaking of
Yes.
ESPN, we canceled Disney Plus.
Yeah.
We will have it as of February 12th. It'll be no more.
Right.
I watched exactly one Premier League game on ESPN Plus. There's literally nothing I'm interested in on ESPN, and I now fully understand why they lose subscribe. Like, they cannot make money on ESPN.
Yeah.
Because rock paper scissors championship. It should be sponsored by White Claw, and then they'll get a bunch of people.
You're absolutely right.
Honestly, that'd be
You're
good.
absolutely right. I was actually at a place the other day, and they had, you know how they usually have a bucket of beer? Had a bucket of claws,
dude. Yeah.
Look, are you kidding
I've
me?
seen that on brunch menus. It's the new brunch drink.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's
A
ridiculous.
bucket of White Claws?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
But they're also kind of good is the problem.
Oh, totally.
They actually are. I'm not going to lie.
I
Yeah.
know.
Have you had the? This is way off topic, but there's a local brewery to us called Cali Craft, and they usually make terrible beer, but they make a hard
Yes, they
seltzer.
do. Terrible.
Yeah,
beer, but their seltzer is
There's
great.
It's really good. Have you had it
It's
yet?
Is that what you gave
great.
me?
Yeah,
Yes.
last time.
Okay.
That was good. Yeah,
It's
I really
good.
liked that.
It's fruited. It's not like White Claw where it's
Yeah.
like flavored, but there's a lot of videos. Not a lot,
It's a
but
little
there's
cidery.
there are videos online of gun enthusiasts, and I'm not trying to get in the middle
Yeah,
of
yeah,
anything like that, but they're shooting the tops off the cans of White Claw,
Yeah.
and then drinking it, and then modifying their AR-15s while they're drinking White Claw, and it's like,
That's stupid.
What?
so White Claw culture, I don't understand. I just don't get
Okay.
it. But anyway, go ahead,
Those are
please.
the people who shouldn't have guns. In 1984, 100% of ESPN was sold to ABC, and then ABC was purchased by Disney in 1995. Now, Art Levitt, the former VP of Disney Parks and Resorts, had an idea for an ESPN Disney project in 1992, approximately 1 year after Disney first began the process of acquiring ABC and ESPN. Art suggested that there needed to be some sort of ESPN.
Hey, do me a favor. I'm going to interrupt
Yeah, I
you.
know. I'm trying to get this closer to me.
Just move your computer
Perfect.
right there, and then you can talk into the
Well,
microphone.
Jeremy's mic was in the way.
Yeah,
All right.
You should get
Sorry.
a cardboard cut out of Jeremy.
you really should.
That's-
I'll look into that.
Okay, so Art suggested that there needed to be some kind of ESPN experience in Disney World. Now, the project, while a good idea, was not immediately greenlit.
There needed to be. No,
There needed to, we need it. There
We
needed to be.
We don't need it.
So the project, while a good idea, was not immediately greenlit. While the project was still going through its initial blue sky work through, Levitt left Disney to become the CEO of Hard Rock Cafe International. After he left, Disney decided to do a modest version of the initial discussions by building the ESPN Club sports bar at Walt Disney World with 13,000 square feet of TV screens in 1996.
Wow.
13,000 square feet.
I'm
of
imagining that it's 13,000 square foot building with TVs everywhere.
13,000 square feet of TVs.
Yeah. So
The
how
building
big
is bigger than that.
Are you sure?
Yes, I
'Cause-
have done my research, sir.
Okay. So the 13,000 square foot of Jesus Christ.
It's insane.
Okay.
You just think it through. And
Yeah.
we go on. Just start wrapping your mind around this, okay? So the club was very successful. So Disney continued to dream up what would be a major hit, and they decided on something called the ESPN Grill that would open in Baltimore. Now, the name was changed to the ESPN Zone on December 29th, 1997, so that people would realize that there was more to this place than just a bar and grill. So on July 11th, 1998, the first ESPN Zone opened in Baltimore in the power plant on the Inner Harbor. A location in Chicago opened on July 10th, 1999, with several more opening within the next 2 years. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, actually, I'm sorry, you're right, 13,000 square foot with TV. Sorry, you're right. You're right.
I was going to say, that's...
Yeah, I know. I just wrapped my head around what I was
Whatever
saying.
happened to I do my research?
I do my research, and then I read my next line.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, meanwhile, on the West Coast, ground had been broken for downtown Disney, and the powers that be felt as though the end of the area closest to Disneyland Hotel needed an anchor restaurant to draw non-resort hotel visitors deeper into the shopping and dining area. The other ESPN Zone restaurants were successful, so this seemed like a logical fit. The problem is there wasn't any room. There were 2 buildings built in 1966, the Disneyland Hotel Travelport, where you could check luggage for upcoming flights, and the Plaza building, which was a 3-floor shopping complex, were in the way, so those were demolished in 1999. Soon...
Rude.
Yeah, I know.
Because that would have been amazing. Can you
That- take
imagine
me
just
back- that-
checking your baggage and then still hanging out in the park?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It'd be
But
fantastic.
again, logistically, they probably had people miss flights and whatever.
It was real. Yeah. So I understand. So soon, ESPN Zone number 6 of 9 would open. So Baltimore opened in '98, Chicago, New York, and DC opened in '99, Atlanta in 2000, Hotlanta in 2000, Denver, Vegas, and Anaheim in 2001, and LA in 2008. So on January 12th, 2001, one day after my 21st birthday, the Anaheim ESPN Zone opened along with the remainder of downtown Disney. Now, the building was actually pretty neat. There was a humongous screen outside that would broadcast whatever was playing on ESPN Zone.
Except, can I say,
The lowest def ever.
yeah, you can't ever even read a score.
It was
I
super
was-
pixelated
I was.
unless it was night, and then you could see it.
No.
I don't even think you could. You could
Oh,
never read
you know
the score.
You know how I can tell you? I'll tell you right now.
I have
At Octo-
cataracts. Oh no, I'm just watching the outside TV at ESPN.
I was
Zone.
just going to say, I don't think those were ever upgraded. Like,
No, they
those
weren't.
were the
They were
original
never
4 pixel.
Yeah.
Because there were definitely
Each
pixels.
light is 1 pixel.
Yes, basically.
October, I want to say it was around the 26th, 2002.
Yeah.
We were in Disneyland celebrating Becca's 21st birthday that happened earlier in the month. And we watched Game 6 of the World Series when Dusty Baker, who's an absolute moron, made the Giants lose. And I watched it on that screen. And I remember being able to see all
Are
the
you sure it was
details. I think it was Dusty Baker. Or it was a soccer game. I can't tell.
It wasn't
was
even
a
the
match.
Giants.
It was Dust.
I know.
Yeah, it was Dustin Bomber. Is his name?
It was golf. It wasn't even baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
but
the
anyway.
it was the football Giants.
So at night it was actually really pretty ridiculous. At night it was brighter and you could see it. But
Threw a home run.
So So the building was 35,000 square feet with tons of screens inside in the bar area, and then
Tons, literally tons. Are we doing this
yes,
again? Okay.
At least 2,000 pounds of. So there was a bar area with TVs, and then there was the screening room, which had a huge screen with TVs around it. It basically looked like a sports book in Vegas. There was a gaming experience. They never called it an arcade. It was a gaming experience upstairs with many video games and arcade style interactive games. So
That's
not
fun.
only it was really fun. So not only skee ball and air hockey, but you could actually throw footballs. There's a pitching machine, 3-point shot games, etc.
There was a bar up there.
There was a bar up there as well. Yes. Also featured a store where you could buy ESPN swag. Various athletes on the outside of the building. There were all art pieces, and their heads slowly moved, which was really strange.
That was weird.
Yeah, and then the solar panels on top of the roof actually made the top of the roof look like a baseball diamond. And this one actually had the ability to be both a TV and a radio studio. So there were local ESPN channels that would come in and do their radio broadcast from here. And there was, I forgot the name of the show, but there was a show from 2001 till 2002 that was filmed here.
Yeah, I saw that booth when we went in. I've only been there twice, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. I was like, wow, that's neat. There's no one ever in it. And then upstairs, the arcade was cool.
Yeah.
And I remember the beers were like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the beers were
It was
cheap.
super cheap,
The
and
beers
for
were cheap.
decent, they had a decent beer selection.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So I liked it because if you were from out of town and you're wondering, I wonder if they're going to show the blank game. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Every game will be
Yeah.
on there at
You
one
just-
of those TVs.
You just have to put on ESPF 50,
ESPF.
SPF 50,
SPF.
because you're going to get
50.
cancer from all the blue UV light.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, you know.
Well, and I liked they had the TVs outside too.
Yeah.
So like I think one time we were walking back to our hotel and it was the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I remember just as we're walking, I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
Sharks game, just like
It's awesome, but that was the great thing about it is that they literally had every sports game on. You could
Yeah.
find all of them.
100%.
So, was ESPN Zone good? No, not really. It really wasn't.
I would give it a solid
In
B
compared to what,
minus.
though?
Yeah,
I would give
I was
it
gonna say that.
a solid C. Not great food.
Well, I never really.
Just
I don't think we
bleh.
ate there. I think maybe we had wings or something. I can't remember, but I thought it was. I mean,
It's fine.
I'm not a sports bar guy,
Right.
so I don't really care.
Okay, so you know me, and I'm normally either very high yes or very low no, and I'm right in the middle. I'm like, it was
Yeah,
okay.
it was fine.
It was okay.
That's
fine.
a Bloody Mary from the ESPN zone.
With it's like loaded with like 3 beans and some bacon and whatever.
Looks
I don't
good.
go for those like
No, that
overloaded
was
Bloody
good.
Marys. I don't.
I like
just-
the one that put the slider on the top too.
Get out of you. Just
holler.
give me a slider on a plate. I'm not an
That's a
animal.
meal.
That's a meal.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I love it.
Because it's also you have to do work to take it off of your thing. Then it's dripping everywhere.
Delicious.
Eh.
No, you put it all in the drink.
No,
You
I don't
like
want
to
a
mix
slider in the drink. bro.
cold bacon. No, man.
Bev just blends it.
Exactly. Like everything's a smoothie.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, I would say not really passable, but it did seem to be somewhat popular. It was in close proximity to the downtown Disney monorail exit, so that helped with its popularity, and also because Rainforest, the other restaurant that was right there, trash. Right?
It's hot garbage.
So
Yeah.
horrible. The food was decent, but the menu was cheesy. So they had the starting lineup for appetizers, on deck for salads, game on for entrees, kickoff for burgers, halftime for sandwiches, and overtime.
It was
is
very
what the
themed.
desserts was.
Yeah,
Very
I
much
mean, there's
themed,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
yeah,
It's
but
fine.
why halftime?
I don't know
What does that
Because
even mean?
it's
for
between.
sandwiches
Because they were sandwiches.
because it'd be a lunch.
Maybe because they're cut in half.
Yeah, it'll be a lunch thing. It's halftime. It's
Maybe
not.
maybe because they were cut in half. So if you got a basket of fries, what would that be?
That's the most realistic explanation that we've had
The
here.
crowd.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Taren.
crowd control. You have a
There's
basket of
bunch
fries.
them.
Yeah,
Yes,
right. Yeah.
So the problem is that
Because
for-
overtime makes sense.
it's dessert.
Well, that was dessert. Well, so
makes
that
sense.
makes sense too.
That
So
makes sense to
I'm
me.
choosing one.
Halftime-
Overtime makes sense.
Overtime
Halftime
makes
makes no
sense.
sense.
no, it does because that would be the center. Like the halftime is like the middle. So you have your appetizer, which is whatever you called it, and then desserts the end. So if you're playing it like a
what
game,
about hockey or
Yeah, kickoff is burgers. That doesn't make any
hockey?
sense. Either,
Yeah.
you know,
Anyway, go
not
ahead.
everything is about hockey.
Wait, what were entrees?
yeah. Entrees were
Game
game
on.
on, which makes sense.
Game entrees.
You're about to eat.
No,
Game on.
game on should be drinks. You're
Good
about
point.
to start
Yes,
your
girl.
game.
Good point. That's a good point. I'll write a
There you
letter
go.
to this place that doesn't exist anymore.
For sure.
So the problem is that ESPN has never really been enough of a draw, enough to draw in crowds. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, where the ESPN X games were everywhere all over DCA, and it lasted for about 2 months before people realized no one
Nobody
gives
cares.
a crap about this. So yeah, you started to see stuff start disappearing. So by 2009, now remember the first one opened in 1999. By 2009, the Denver and Atlanta restaurants were already closed. By June 2010, only the Anaheim and LA ones remained open. So 7 of the 9 were closed.
Which makes
within
sense
10 years.
because they're just doing a sports bar, but over the top with TVs.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a balance between how much TV you can have in any sort of establishment, because at the center of it all, you're going there to eat or drink. You're not
Right.
going. You might think yourself, "Oh, I'm going to go watch the game," but you're not. You can go watch the game at Buffalo Wild Wings or Applebee's or
Yeah.
Chili's, but you go in the ESPN zone for a thing, whatever
Yeah.
that thing is, either a certain drink or
Right.
food or environment or whatever. But if you just go, here's a bar with 100,000 pounds of TVs.
Yeah.
That's not a draw for anybody, because
Yeah.
if the food sucks
Right.
or the place isn't comfortable, then you're not going to go there.
Yeah.
But I also think with these like overly themed out restaurants, they can't just stay the same. Like you have to do something to make them like remember what was the restaurant that was owned by like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Hard Rock.
Hard
Cafe.
Rock.
no.
No, Planet
No,
Hollywood.
Planet
Planet
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
And those just got tired and they all just started dying and nobody cared.
Forgot about that place.
Was it that, or
Exactly.
was it? I mean, because they had a
It's
Hard
Planet
Rock. Because Hard Rock's still going. That's tired.
Hard Rock
Who cares
is
about?
tired.
Yeah.
But Planet
Well,
Hollywood
also-
died.
But yeah.
I feel like there's more, because I feel like when that happened, when they went out of business,
Did they go back?
I think that there was a story behind that. I mean,
Maybe.
keep going.
Okay.
I mean, things that Jason Googled.
So by June 2010, only Anaheim and LA remained open. In 2013, the LA location closed, and on October 25th, 2017, the official Disney Parks blog described what to expect with the Anaheim location. The stunning 700-room hotel will feature a sophisticated design and be a game changer for Anaheim, and on and on and on, telling about what was going to happen with this new grand hotel that would open in the last half of downtown Disney. So on June 2nd, 2018, the last ESPN Zone closed its doors for the last time. Now, have you guys been to the new hotel?
No.
Exactly. So the hotel wasn't built. In fact, so it's not built, and it will
scrapped
never
altogether.
and it will never be built. But the failure of the franchise is guaranteed that ESPN Zone will never be open again. So what's in its place? What's in its place is a pop-up Disney thing.
I love it.
Is a
Yeah.
photo opportunity.
It's an
its place.
Instagram.
I mean, what are you gonna do with it though? Like, what do you do there?
That's all you can do.
They should bulldoze it and put in a Plaza Hotel shopping center. Just rebuild what was already there.
Okay.
Just make it an homage to like old Disneyland Hotel.
Well, so personally, I think it's a great location. I think it's I would love to see some other kind of restaurant go in its place, because it's strange to me that you have Rainforest, which is shuttered, you have ESPN Zone, which is shuttered, and then in front of those you have food trucks. You have the music stage that's basically
that weird stage, yeah.
yeah, right in between the two of them, and then you have a food truck area right there, and so it makes the last half of downtown Disney.
It's a ghost town.
They
need animatronic tumbleweeds going through there.
Yeah.
If you're not going to Earl of Sandwich, if you're not going to downtown Disneyland Hotel or Trader Sam's,
yeah.
or if you did not park in downtown Disney parking, there's
Well, even
You
then,
have no reason to
there's
go
no
there.
and then
reason to
you
go
make a
down
hard
there.
right before you even right, exactly. And they're probably looking for a partner to go in there to do that. But I mean, House of Blues already left, so
Yes.
they should have some sort of music venue thing there, because House of Blues was popular.
What
It
did they
was.
do with
So
House of Blues? They
They
turned it into a
moved,
bowling
they
alley?
moved to
Bowling
the
alley.
yeah.
They moved
it's
to
a bowling
Garden
alley.
Walk.
They moved to the Garden Walk. Yeah, yeah.
The
yeah.
movie theater
It's gone.
is gone also.
It's gone.
Yeah,
The only thing
but the
down
building's
there,
still there.
Right.
the only thing that's down there
Not anymore
that's
though. I think they're
open.
killing it.
What?
The movie aren't they putting the new Disney Vacation Club there?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, but the movie theaters is done,
Yeah.
and then they have Earl of Sandwich, which is down there by itself, just kind of chilling.
Killer.
And so it's fantastic. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much room. There's so much you could do. And the thing that when the bowling alley, I forgot the name of the place, Splitsville, when that opened, I thought that it was going to tank, because
Yeah, me too.
you are not going to Disneyland to bowl.
And you
Just like you don't go to Disneyland to fish, you
Well-
don't go to Disneyland to bowl.
Well, because the bowling games are expensive.
Yeah.
All the food,
Yes.
the beers are expensive. I think the beers are like $14 or something. It's
No
insane.
beer is worth
The
$14.
food's expensive, but people like it, and I don't. This is what I'm saying. I'm incorrect on like everything I've ever said on this dumb show. I'm incorrect on it all. I thought for sure that was going to fail.
I thought it would too, but this is proven something. It's proven you can have these experiences in downtown Disney still.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out a way to incorporate something that's repeatable for people. And if it's not repeatable for people, at least have something that's going to be a draw. Because ESPN is not a draw. But a really good restaurant with really good drinks will get people there. It will get people there. And if you figure out a way to do something like I don't know what it would be like if it's I just thought of laser tag and drinks.
yeah.
Sounds fun.
Sounds painful.
It sounds amazing, but something to get people to that area, because it really is a ghost town.
Yeah.
Well, and an update from Brian, the Mickey Instagram cash grab isn't even open. It is gone, so that's
See,
just
there
an
you
empty
go.
Now
building.
you just have Earl Sandwich, and you have a stage with
That's it.
a 5th grade band playing, and you have food trucks.
yeah.
I'm sorry. There are food trucks? I missed that part.
So if you're walking past the monorail, you get into that area where it kind of opens up, where you have the old Starbucks, movie theater, Earl Sandwich, ESPN Zone. The way I'm pointing is great radio, by the way.
Yeah, it's
ESPN Zone, and then Rainforest Cafe right here. If you get right in there in the middle, right by where the stage is, and turn around and start looking back towards Disneyland, there's a Habit food truck that's there, and
I
then
think
there's a
it's
taco
where that
truck.
old the DVC club
The booth
building
was,
used to be.
yes. They have food trucks there now.
Yeah, and they're not very good. Like last
That-
time Taren and I went, we stayed at
Yeah.
the Disneyland Hotel. We had to go there for dinner.
Yeah.
And it was not very good, and it took forever.
Yeah.
And I wonder what those food trucks are paying to be there.
Oh my God.
Can you
Oh,
I
imagine?
can't even imagine.
No.
So,
Well,
She
very
gone.
very
Yeah.
good, Terrence.
she gone.
Yeah, she gone.
She gone.
But you know what's still here, everybody? The 21st Amendment. They've been serving craft beer in the San Francisco Bay Area for 19 years, from their initial brew pub on 2nd Street, which is just 2 blocks from Giant Stadium in San Francisco, to the production brewery and tap room across the bay in San Leandro. The 21st Amendment is now available in 29 states, including in and around the park. So wherever you're going to be, those are the only states that matter. I'll
Yes.
tell you that right now. Next time you're in San Francisco, visit the brew pub and shoot over to neighboring San Leandro to check out the new production brewery and tap room, which is amazing, by the way, for great beers and good food. And be sure to ask for the 21st Amendment wherever you find good craft beer. All right, we got a little bit of this.
March in the past.
Oh my God.
Present
You're
and
never gonna
future
fix it.
I keep
with
forgetting.
all
I
the
keep
news
forgetting.
That's fit to cover.
Honestly, don't fix it
Here's
anymore.
a
It's so
Disney
great.
news.
Kind of is.
News.
Pan.
It's so sad sounding.
I'm like adjusting the pitch and it's not even working.
I think it's the speed.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to figure it out.
We know.
Okay. Maybe I should not.
Probably not.
All right. Well, there you go. It is what it is now, everybody. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, if you are into watching a Disney on Broadway concert from Epcot, Disney Parks Live has you covered. This year, the popular Disney on Broadway concert series returns to the 2020 Epcot International Festival of the Arts, and guests apparently are loving it. Today, we're happy to share that we'll present one of these concerts live on our next Inside Disney Parks live stream, which will take place on Saturday, January 25th. That evening's Disney on Broadway concert will feature performances by Broadway stars Alton Fitzgerald White and something called Kissy Simmons. Kissy.
That's a good name.
Kissy. Simmons. Kissy Simmons.
Wow.
From The Lion King, Heidi Blickenstaff from The Little Mermaid, and Gavin Lee from Mary Poppins. The live stream will begin at 7:55 p.m. right here on the Disney Parks blog, which I imagine is Eastern time since you're talking about Disney World. So that sounds pretty cool. And there's actually a bunch of them. So if you go to Disney Parks, and you'll find it. But anyway, January 26th, 28th, 29th. And February 1, 2, 5, and 6, there's some people from Newsies and Tarzan. January 27th, 30th, 31st, and then again in February, Newsies and Aladdin. So they're doing a whole bunch of cool little concerts from Epcot, which sounds really fun. So if you're into that, check it out. And it's
cool.
going on, like I said, from basically all through February.
All right.
That's nice.
That's fun stuff. The long-rumored upcharge Fast Pass program at Disney World looks like it's finally about to launch. I'm talking a little bit about this, but not a whole lot because it hasn't really been announced. But let's see. As early as 2007, there were indications that Disney was considering a paid Fast Pass system. In early 2017, the basic concept for the system at WDW was beginning to materialize. Disney rolled out a pay-to-play option in both Shanghai Disneyland and Disneyland in California. Those two systems were a bit different, with the Shanghai one being for specific attractions, while the California one was more of an app-based day of pre-reservation system, which is the Max Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
By late 2017, multiple insiders were indicating, bless you, that there were plans for a similar upcharge Fast Pass system in Orlando. Then in January 2018, a new program allowed club-level hotel guests staying 3 or more nights to purchase an extra 3 Fast Passes for $50 per guest per day.
That's
Wow.
expensive.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, already club level is $100-$150 a night
Jeez.
more, so you're getting all that.
That's insane.
And then you can pay $50, but the privilege of paying 50, but you're buying 3 Fast Passes for $50.
17
That's
bucks
a
each.
lot.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
not worth
I
it.
don't
Insane,
think.
dude.
Yeah. What?
That's not worth it.
No.
It can't be.
The upcharge Fast Pass also opened up the scheduling window dig this, a full 30 days before it typically opens. So you can schedule, I think Fast Pass, wasn't it 3 months beforehand, Taren?
Yes, I think so.
Now it's 4 months. So if you get that and you're staying club level, you can select your Fast Passes 4 months in advance.
a month
I
before
don't
everybody
like
else.
that.
I don't like it either. It seems weird because you're charging people for just
Privilege.
charging. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to be a hater, but who's picking out their fast passes 4 months in advance?
Well,
You
you have,
have to.
Really?
So you
Yeah.
get your Magic Band, and is it 4 months or is it 90? Is it because I know the reservations for food is 30.
don't think-
I can't remember anymore.
I think it was like a month and I think it was like 90 days.
I'm sure Eric will tell me.
I think it was 90 days.
I don't know.
So you can't just go to Disney World and be like, I want to ride this ride. Let's get a fast pass for
You,
it?
no, you
No.
can. No, you can.
Well, you can.
Absolutely, you can. But it just gives you the option to reserve it. So if you want to ride rides that are like anything in Pandora or whatever, I don't know.
Like the big
making that up. But yeah,
ones.
that,
Right.
yeah.
Which makes sense. You know some of the attractions you're going to want to hit, so that makes sense.
We tried to make reservations on the 180th day before we went, and we could, or whatever it was, maybe it was 90. We couldn't make dinner reservations for any of the big restaurants because it was all booked.
That's insane.
Oh,
It makes me want to go less and less.
Exactly.
60 days for Fast Pass Plus and 90 days for dining reservations.
I knew Eric would say something. See, there you go, Eric, and that's probably something that concierge can help you out with
Yes.
too. Honestly, like
Yeah.
if we're going and you're handling my business, I need you to make reservations for me. That's
That's
just all
pretty
there is
cool.
to it. Yeah. So, anyways, for some guests, this allows them to have up to 6 fast passes per day ahead of their visit, which is crazy, right?
That's cool. I mean, that's good, but
But you're paying for
but
it.
You're
But
paying
it's-
for it.
It's not like it's an additional $50 tacked onto your ticket. It's a day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not clear yet because it's not really announced, but it's going to be integrated into their artificial intelligence-driven planning tool, Disney Genie, that we talked about last year. I think the new digital tool will help guests plan their day on demand in real time. I don't know, but anyway, so watch out for that to come to Disney World for sure, and probably expand to Disneyland, and soon fast passes you can pay $50 and get 2 extra ones, and the more people buy these things from Disney, the more Disney's going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
don't know.
absolutely.
I don't know the
You're
time.
right. You're right.
Here's the last one that we have here for you folks, and then we're going to go and make a drink because we have a secret show. So if you're Patreon supporters, hang tight. We'll be on in about half an hour. I got to make the YouTube link for that, so check the Patreon page in a sec or two, in a skosh of time afterwards. So you've heard about, see, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but I have to cover news that we don't cover on Ears Up. We cover specifically for Ears Up in Depth.
I love the internal debate you're having out loud right now.
Thank you. But I have to do it because I need to make fun of people.
Okay, go for
Okay.
it.
Well, yeah.
You've heard of popcorn
Obviously.
buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now they have French fry buckets.
That sounds way better.
What? Yes, sign me up.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All about that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Kylo Ren French fries
Cut it down.
TIE Fighter bucket lands at Disneyland. And it's like the Kylo Ren TIE Fighter, and you can get French fries in it.
Things
Great.
Beverly Googled.
The problem is that you can eat popcorn longer than you can eat French fries.
That
Well, and
shit
also-
I
does get a
cannot
little
eat
gross.
cold French fries.
I don't enjoy it, but I will because they're French fries. But also, I'm guessing that a bucket of French fries is too many French fries for any person.
That's a lot. It's got to be a
Fake
lot of
news.
Yes. So they have actually, this is a different story because the one I did on Ears Up in Depth was about the Millennium Falcon. So they have a Millennium Falcon shaped one. This is the Kylo Ren TIE Fighter. It's a completely different story.
Right.
It's
Yes.
$19.49 for the bucket. And then you can go to the Galactic Grill, and then
Okay.
you can get whatever. And if you want to refill it, you have to use your mobile order, and then they give you the fries in a bucket or in a bag, and then you
And you can just
dump them
dump
in.
'em in.
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, it is sort of small, but the
Yeah, they're not that big.
Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter is pointy on the ends. Can you imagine being in line or like walking in front of somebody and stabbing them in the neck with the Kylo Ren TIE Fighter because you're eating
Yes.
French fries? And the point I made on In Depth, the world famous Disneyland French fries. When was the last time you heard of anybody eating Disneyland French
Who
fries?
cares? They're French
and
fries.
go, you know what's good about these fries?
Fact.
I need to take them everywhere I go. At least the popcorn is good.
The last time the
Wait.
French fries were good was when McDonald's was in
I've
Disneyland.
never. I don't
You
know if
guys
I've
are-
ever had French fries.
I don't
at Disneyland.
understand.
You guys are totally missing the point. They're getting $20 for a bucket.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not about the fries. It's for the people who don't want popcorn but want a thing.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
that
to
are
be honest,
yeah.
Well, you
given
can do
the
both, I mean.
opportunity to have French fries or popcorn, I'm always going to go French fries. Always. I kind of hate popcorn.
No.
I'm always gonna go
No.
French fries too.
No.
I would
Get stuck in
never.
my
Given the option,
French fries are not a standalone snack. Popcorn is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sometimes
French
I'm
fries
not
go
looking
with
for-
food. It's like
Exactly.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and get mashed potatoes.
First of all, you're wrong because I would totally just go get mashed potatoes.
I would
No, you
also.
wouldn't.
Yes, I
No,
would.
you wouldn't.
It sounds delicious.
But you know what? Also, you guys are the same people who want the baked potato
I was
from
just
wherever.
gonna say. I was just gonna
Yes.
say. I have ordered just the baked potato from Wendy's.
We have come up with the next
With the
bucket.
cheese?
It's
Oh,
gonna
hell
be
yeah.
A baked potato bucket?
It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be.
Yes,
it's gonna be,
girl, yes.
It's gonna be Ray's or Luke's X-wing mashed potato bucket. That's what it's gonna be.
What is the
that sounds great.
Optional gravy.
What is the difference between getting a side
A
of
Death Star
French fries.
mashed potato bucket.
How is there any difference in getting a side of French fries or a standalone turkey leg?
Your lack of gravy disturbs me.
It's all food that should be put together with other food, but you know what?
Popcorn
not.
Live your
stands
best.
alone. Popcorn stands alone. Sorry.
But it's not as good.
No,
Whatever.
it's not.
Could you imagine if they started doing flavored French fries? Like the popcorn, but French. Oh, that's the next
And-
step.
Imagine dill pickle French fries.
And
just for
cold-
a second. Just let that sit in your head for a hot minute.
I support this.
I'm all right with it.
The dill
Ranch dr-
popcorn
and
is
it's
great,
ranch
but
French
I don't know
fries?
about.
That'd be so good.
And cold French fries are no different than the gross
Okay, you're at it.
popcorn
No.
kernels at the bottom
No.
that are
No.
so
You're
hard that you
absolutely
can't.
wrong.
No, they're
No.
both awful.
I can. So
No.
when we go
and
to
at
the
least you can
movies,
chew one of them.
when we go to the movies, we get the
No.
like the 5 of us. We get the big bucket, and then we'll get the refill and take it home, and we can eat it later because cold popcorn is still delicious. Cold French fries are gross. Stop.
First of all, you're
We'll eat it
spending
for
way
dinner.
too much money because popcorn is hella easy to make.
You're at the movie.
And also
you
two
get
buckets?
You get a free.
But
hold
you,
on.
but you,
Hold on.
no,
Hold on.
but
No,
you,
no, 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 no,
you
no, no,
buy
no,
the,
no, no, no,
you
no,
buy
no,
the
no, listen.
popcorn to enjoy at the movie, not in the car ride
You're not-
home from the movie.
I don't think. I think you missed part of the thing I said.
No,
So
I
for
don't
the
think so.
5 of us, you have to get the big one to
Right.
share.
Yeah.
And it's a free refill. I'm not paying additional money for more popcorn.
No, but you are bringing home more sodium.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are bringing home sodium.
Do you get the fake butter on top?
With the one that we eat there, yes. The one we bring home, no. We think this through.
That's the right decision.
We ain't no rookies.
The last news story is sort of a weird news story, and I don't know if you guys have seen this circulating. I'm sure you have, but it's the news story that someone pulled the sword from the stone
Yeah,
in
some
Disneyland.
big
What? I
Yeah.
thought we were going to talk about this on the secret show because I have
Well,
thoughts.
we can do
I
both.
didn't know this.
Yeah, some big dude did that.
Supposedly, so
Yeah.
all the websites that you see go back to WWNT, which is the site that makes up stories.
Oh, good point.
Ah.
So that story that they published, it was they supposedly interviewed somebody at the park and said, "Oh yeah, a big guy named Sam pulled it out of the stone." And
Okay.
when the Disney staff came and took them away. And I remember hearing this, and I'm like, there's no way this happened, because if it did, it would be all over
Mainstream.
Twitter. It would be all over Twitter. Just pictures of it would be
Yes, that's a
but
good point.
There's literally no photos of it anywhere. So, and then a few days later, I forget the guy's name, and I meant to look it up before him, but he's like a big Disneyland guy. I think he actually works at Disneyland. I can't remember. Matthew Galata or whatever. He's a big Disneyland Twitter guy. I don't know. I think he's kind of rude to people, but whatever. He has a lot of good information. He came out and said, no, the sword was just gone for maintenance. Whatever else you read about someone pulling out the sword is clickbait. It did not happen. I trust him over the other site that has literally been called out and proven to lie about stuff. So
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
Don't trust anything. Just don't even look at their dumb site, because literally they just make stuff up. So you never know. I believe Matthew over these guys because Matthew's on Twitter and he's like, this didn't happen. These guys have Google ads and they want you to click on everything. So
well, and what
it's
makes
just-
me
it's nowhere on Twitter, nowhere on Instagram. Something like that. If someone
Right.
just brute forced the sword out, that would
right.
people would be taking photos.
Well, and what makes me very upset about this is that we already kind of didn't like this guy, or I guess I should say I. And that's all the other articles are. I've clicked on 2 of them.
Yeah.
And all it says is WNT or whatever it is reports that. It's just reverberation of his article.
Yeah.
And it's not anything new. This is what news is now. It's actually so disappointing. I hate it. I hate everything in life.
It's weird because like you can't
Newsweek reported this.
you can't verify it because there was nobody there.
Right.
And so how do you what happened to journalism? It's not, I mean, look, we're talking about Disneyland, so who cares? But you know that this would be in other places. You know that there would be photographic evidence. You know that, and it's very disappointing that people are just still the site's still making stuff up. I hate it.
and big news sources are picking it up.
Yeah.
And that's what really
Burns your burners.
it really does.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to get out of here, everybody. Hang tight, like I said, about half an hour for the secret show. We're going to be doing a good one, and it's going to be a lot of fun because they're all fun. You know what I mean? Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in the chat room. I appreciate it very much. Don't forget to ask for the 21st Amendment beer wherever you find good craft beer like DCA. It really is the only beer that you should be buying in DCA. It's good. I like it, and everything else stinks. It doesn't stink, but 2&A is just a little bit better. So anyway, check them out. 21st Amendment beers. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you in the parks.